William Carter had mastered the art of efficiency. Even now, striding through LAX's premium terminal, he replied to emails on his phone while simultaneously directing his personal assistant about tomorrow's meetings in New York. Private jets were typically his preferred mode of travel, but mechanical issues had forced him onto a commercial flight. First class, naturally. "The Beijing contractors need confirmation by noon tomorrow," he stated, his voice carrying the authority that had built Carter Pharmaceuticals into a billion-dollar empire. "Push everything else back if you have to." At 38, William exemplified success. Tall, distinguished, with steel-gray eyes that assessed everything like potential investments. His tailored Tom Ford suit and platinum watch spoke of wealth, but it was his resolute expression that truly defined him. A man who'd sacrificed everything for success. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're now boarding first-class passengers for Flight 2317 to New York." William ended his call, striding toward the gate with practiced precision. He'd perfected every aspect of his life, streamlined it for maximum productivity. That's what he told himself 3 years ago when Olivia left. It wasn't a failure, it was optimization. Relationships were messy, unpredictable. Children? An unnecessary complication. The flight attendant's practiced smile greeted him as he boarded. "Welcome aboard, Mr. Carter." He nodded curtly, turning into the first-class cabin, and then the world tilted on its axis. Olivia. She sat in 3A, more beautiful than he remembered, her honey-blonde hair falling in soft waves around her face. 3 years had only enhanced her natural grace, but it wasn't her presence that made his blood run cold. It was the 2 small boys beside her. William froze mid-step, his perfectly ordered world crumbling around him. The children were identical, twins, with dark hair and familiar features that struck him like a physical blow. One of them looked up, revealing eyes that mirrored his own. "Mama, can I have my tablet now?" the boy asked, his voice carrying clearly through the cabin. "Mama." The word echoed in William's head like a thunderclap. He watched, paralyzed as Olivia tenderly helped the child with his tablet, her movements those of a practiced mother. The other twin leaned against her, thumb in his mouth, clutching a well-loved stuffed elephant. They had to be about 2, maybe 3 years old. The timing. William's analytical mind kicked in, calculating dates with ruthless efficiency. Their separation, the divorce, the possibilities, no, the certainties, crashed through his carefully constructed walls. Olivia looked up then, perhaps sensing his presence. Their eyes met, and he saw the flash of panic cross her face before she quickly looked away, pulling both boys closer to her. Moving on autopilot, William found his seat, 4C, directly behind them. Close enough to hear every word, every laugh, every maternal endearment that Olivia softly spoke to the children. His children. They had to be his children. The flight attendant's safety demonstration became white noise as William's mind raced. He'd built his empire on careful planning, on controlling every variable. But this was chaos incarnate. "Noah, sweetie, please stay in your seat," Olivia's gentle voice carried back to him. "Liam, share the tablet with your brother." Noah and Liam. His sons had names. His sons existed. The plane taxied down the runway, but William barely noticed. Every fiber of his being focused on the seat ahead of him, where Olivia expertly managed the twins through takeoff, distracting them with stories and quiet games. He watched as she pulled out 2 identical blue sippy cups when their ears started bothering them during the ascent. Observed how she knew exactly which boy preferred the window seat and which needed extra reassurance when the plane hit mild turbulence. She'd done this alone. All of it. Because he'd made it abundantly clear that children weren't part of his carefully planned future. The irony wasn't lost on him. He'd spent years controlling every aspect of his life, and now his biggest life change had happened completely without his knowledge or consent. As the plane leveled off at cruising altitude, William pulled out his phone, opening his calendar app. He cleared tomorrow morning's schedule with a few decisive taps. This couldn't wait. When the seatbelt sign dinged off, he leaned forward, his voice low but firm. Olivia. She stiffened but didn't turn around. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. My office. It wasn't a request. We need to talk. He saw her shoulders tense, watched as she drew in a deep breath. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely above a whisper. Yes, we do. The rest of the flight passed in a blur of suppressed questions and mounting tension. William Carter, the man who'd built an empire on absolute control, found himself facing the one thing he'd never planned for: fatherhood. And as the plane descended toward New York, he realized that for the first time in his life, he had no idea what to do next. The Carter Pharmaceuticals building pierced the Manhattan skyline like a glass and steel monument to ambition. At precisely 9:45 a.m., Olivia Bennett stood in its marble lobby, her heart hammering against her ribs. The security guard checked her ID, his eyebrows rising slightly at her name. She'd kept her married name for the twins' sake, though few in the building would remember her. Mrs. Carter? Mr. Carter is expecting you, the guard said, handing her a visitor's badge. The word Carter felt heavy, a reminder of everything that lay ahead. The elevator ride to the top floor gave Olivia precious moments to collect herself. She'd dropped the twins at her sister Madison's apartment, promising to return soon. Madison had offered to come with her, but this was a conversation she needed to handle alone. William's executive assistant, Regina Walsh, hadn't aged a day in 3 years. Her perfect posture and immaculate appearance remained unchanged, though surprise flickered across her features when she saw Olivia. He's waiting for you, Regina said, gesturing toward the familiar double doors. Olivia noticed she didn't offer coffee like she used to, back when she was the CEO's wife rather than his ex. William stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows when Olivia entered, his back to the door. The office looked exactly as she remembered: minimalist, powerful, every object carefully chosen to project success and control. He turned as the door closed behind her, and for a moment, neither spoke. Sit down, Olivia. His voice was controlled, but she caught the underlying tension. She chose the chair facing his desk, smoothing her navy dress, armor she'd chosen carefully for this moment. William didn't sit. He paced instead 3 precise steps before turning to face her. Were you ever going to tell me? I don't know, Olivia answered honestly. There was no point in lies now. I hadn't planned on seeing you again. Hadn't planned? His laugh held no humor. You're raising my children, my sons, and you hadn't planned on telling me they exist? The careful control slipped, revealing raw anger beneath. How could you make that decision for me? You made it yourself, William. Olivia's voice remained steady, though her hands clasped tightly in her lap. Or don't you remember? Children are anchors, Olivia. They drag you down, destroy your focus, ruin everything you've built. She quoted his words from memory. You made your position very clear. That was before. Before what? Before they existed? Does their existence suddenly change your fundamental beliefs about parenthood? She leaned forward. They're not a business proposition, William. They're people. Small, vulnerable people who need stability and love, not a father who sees them as an inconvenience. William stopped pacing, bracing his hands on the desk. You had no right to keep this from me. I could sue for custody. You could try. Olivia's voice held steel now. But you'd have to explain to a judge why you've been absent for 3 years, why you repeatedly stated you never wanted children, why you worked 16-hour days and missed every holiday when we were married. She met his gaze steadily. Do you even know their names? Noah and Liam, he said quickly, then faltered. I heard you on the plane. Noah Alexander and Liam Christopher, she corrected. Noah is allergic to strawberries. Liam won't sleep without his elephant named Blue. They both love dinosaurs, but can't stand peas. Noah is left-handed. Liam hums when he colors. They're not just names, William. They're people with personalities and needs and fears. William sank into his chair, the anger draining from him. Why didn't you tell me when you found out? I was going to, Olivia admitted softly. I had it all planned. Then I saw you on TV, announcing Carter Pharmaceuticals' expansion into Asia. You looked so proud, so fulfilled. You said it was possible because you had no distractions, no responsibilities beyond the company. She swallowed hard. I was 8 weeks pregnant. That night I decided to let you have what you wanted, your unencumbered life. Silence filled the office. Outside, Manhattan continued its endless rush, but in here, time seemed suspended. I want to meet them, William finally said. Properly. No. Olivia's response was immediate. Not yet. They're my sons. Exactly. They're not a corporate takeover, William. You can't just decide to acquire them. She stood, gathering her purse. If you want to be part of their lives, you need to prove you can be consistent, that you understand what being a father actually means. What do you want from me? I want you to think, really think, not about your rights or what you're owed, but about them, about what they need. She moved toward the door, then paused. They're at an age where they're starting to ask about their father. Soon they'll understand enough to be hurt by absence or inconsistency. So before you charge into their lives, be very sure you're ready to stay there. How can I prove anything if you won't let me see them? Olivia turned back. Start with dinner tonight, just us. If you're serious about this, we need to talk, really talk about what happens next. She pulled a business card from her purse. My number. Text me if you want to meet. 7 o'clock, Riverside Bistro. But William? She met his eyes one final time. If you're not absolutely certain you can put them first, don't come. The door closed behind her with a soft click, leaving William alone with a business card, a choice, and the weight of everything he'd never known he wanted. Riverside. Bistro sat nestled along the Hudson, its warm lights reflecting off the water as evening settled over Manhattan. William arrived 20 minutes early, something he hadn't done since his first date with Olivia 7 years ago. He chose a quiet corner table, one that offered privacy while still showcasing the river view. His phone buzzed with urgent emails about the Beijing deal, but for the first time in his career, William Carter ignored them. Instead, he found himself pulling up photos from the flight, discreet shots he'd taken of the twins when they'd fallen asleep against their mother. Their peaceful faces stirred something profound in him, an emotion he couldn't quite name. At exactly 7, Olivia appeared in the restaurant's entrance. She'd changed from her morning outfit into a simple black dress, her honey blonde hair, now loose around her shoulders. The maitre d' led her to the table and William stood, muscle memory from 1,000 business dinners taking over. You came, she said, surprise coloring her voice as she took her seat. Did you think I wouldn't? Honestly, I wasn't sure. She accepted the wine list but didn't open it. 3 years ago you missed our anniversary dinner because of a conference call with Singapore. The memory hit him like a physical blow. He'd sent roses the next day, 2 dozen, with an expensive necklace. I was different then. Were you? Or did you just not have a reason to change? She studied him with those perceptive green eyes that had always seen through his corporate armor. Why are you really here, William? A server approached, but William waved him away with a practiced gesture. This conversation couldn't wait. I keep seeing their faces, he admitted. Noah and Liam. I can't stop thinking about all the moments I've missed. There have been so many, Olivia said softly. She opened her phone, hesitated, then slid it across the table. Here. The photo gallery opened to an album labeled First Year. William's throat tightened as he scrolled through. Images of his sons, their first day home from the hospital, tiny and red-faced. Their first smiles, first teeth, first steps. Birthday parties with colorful streamers and modest cakes. Halloween costumes, tiny dinosaurs with tails that dragged on the ground. They were premature, Olivia explained, watching his face. 6 weeks early. I was in labor for 20 hours. Madison held my hand through all of it because I couldn't. She swallowed hard. I couldn't call you. William's hands tightened on the phone. You should have. Should I? Her voice held no anger, only a deep sadness. You were in Dubai that week, announcing another expansion. The headlines called you the pharmaceutical king. Your net worth had just hit 8 billion. She reached for her water glass. Tell me honestly, would you have come? The question hung between them, heavy with 3 years of choices and consequences. William wanted to say yes, to insist he would have dropped everything, but they both knew better. I've made mistakes, he finally said. More than I can count. But seeing them on that plane, he shook his head. It changed something in me. Olivia, they're perfect, they're terrifying? She offered a small smile. They have that effect. They're brilliant and exhausting and completely unpredictable. Everything you always said you couldn't handle in your life. The server returned, and this time they ordered, more out of social convention than hunger. As the man retreated, William leaned forward. Tell me about them. Everything. For the next hour, Olivia painted a portrait of their sons in words. How Noah was the adventurous one, always climbing and exploring, while Liam observed everything with thoughtful curiosity. Their first words, no for Noah, book for Liam, their favorite bedtime stories, the way they communicated in their own twin language that no one else could understand. They're in preschool now, she continued. Part-time, 3 days a week. Noah made friends immediately. Liam took longer, but now he has a best friend named Daniel. They're learning their letters, basic counting. They're ahead of their age group in verbal skills. Pride swelled in William's chest, followed immediately by a crushing sense of loss. I should have been there. Yes, Olivia agreed simply. You should have. Their entrees arrived, barely touched before getting cold. William had another question, one that had been burning since that morning. How do you support them? I know the divorce settlement. I haven't touched it, Olivia interrupted. Not one penny. I'm a pediatric nurse now. We live in a small apartment in Brooklyn. It's not luxury, but it's home. They don't need mansions or private jets, William. They need time, attention, love. Let me help. Set up trust funds at least. The best schools? No. Her tone was firm. Not until you prove this isn't just guilt or curiosity or wounded pride. They're not a problem you can solve by throwing money at it. William sat back, studying the woman before him. She'd changed. In their years apart, grown stronger, more assured. Motherhood suited her in a way his gifts of jewelry and sports cars never had. What do you want me to do? He asked finally. Start slow. Meet them in a neutral place, the park near our apartment. Let them get comfortable with you first. No promises, no grand gestures. She met his gaze steadily. And William, if you start this, you have to be consistent. No canceling because of meetings. No sending assistants with presents instead of showing up yourself. They need to be your priority. And if I fail, then you step away completely. I won't let them be. Hurt by half-hearted attempts at fatherhood, she reached into her purse, pulling out a small photo. This was last week at the zoo. The picture showed the twins in matching blue jackets, their faces lit with joy as they watched sea lions play. William touched it gently, tracing their features with a finger. Saturday, he said suddenly. This Saturday. I'll clear my schedule, the whole day. Whatever time works for them. Olivia studied him for a long moment. The park on Carroll Street. 10 a.m. They're usually hungry for lunch by 11:30, tired by 2. She stood, gathering her things. Don't be late, William. Not for this. He rose as well, fighting the urge to reach for her. I won't be. She nodded once, then turned, to leave. At the last moment, she looked back. They ask about you sometimes. They see other kids with dads at the playground. I've never said anything negative, just that you live far away. Her voice softened. Please don't make me regret changing that story. Long after she'd gone, William sat at the table, staring at the photo she'd left behind. His son's smiles challenged everything he'd built his life around. For the first time, He wondered if his empire of glass and steel was worth what it had cost him. His phone buzzed again. Urgent messages about tomorrow's board meeting. William Carter, the man who had built his fortune on never hesitating, found himself paralyzed by the simplest of choices. Open the email or keep staring at his children's faces. For the first time in his adult life, work could wait. Saturday. Morning dawned crisp and clear over Brooklyn, the autumn air carrying hints of approaching winter. William arrived at Carroll Park 45 minutes early, having spent the previous night researching child development and memorizing every detail Olivia had shared about the twins' personalities. He'd dressed down deliberately, dark jeans, and a cashmere sweater instead of his usual suit. A paper bag from the local toy store sat on the bench beside him, containing 2 identical plush dinosaurs. He'd spent an hour choosing them, remembering Olivia's mention of their love for prehistoric creatures. At 9:55, he spotted them entering the park. Olivia held their hands as they walked, one boy on each side. They wore matching red jackets, but even at a distance William could spot the differences she'd described. Noah bouncing with energy, Liam taking more measured steps. His heart thundered against his ribs as they approached. The twins noticed him before they reached the bench, their curiosity evident in the way they slowed their steps and glanced up at their mother. "Remember what we talked about?" Olivia said softly to them. "About meeting someone special today?" Liam pressed closer to her leg, while Noah studied William with open curiosity. Up close, the resemblance was startling, his own gray eyes looking back at him from 2 small faces. "Boys," Olivia said carefully, "this is William. He's your father." Noah's eyes widened. "Like Daniel's daddy at school?" "Yes, sweetheart. Like that." William found himself holding his breath as the twins processed this information. He'd negotiated billion-dollar deals with less anxiety than he felt in this moment. "Hi, Noah. Hi, Liam," he managed, his voice gentler than he'd ever heard it. "I brought something for you." He reached for the toy store bag, but Olivia caught his eye with a slight shake of her head. "Not yet. Why don't we play first?" she suggested. "The dinosaur playground is open." Noah needed no further encouragement, darting toward the playground equipment. Liam hesitated, looking between his brother and mother before slowly following. "They need time to warm up," Olivia explained quietly. "Just be present. Follow their lead." William nodded, watching as Noah fearlessly climbed the playground structure. Liam remained at the bottom, examining the mock fossils embedded in the playground's surface. "Mama!" Noah called from the top. "Watch me." "I'm watching, baby," Olivia called back. "Be careful." William's throat tightened as Noah navigated the elevated pathway with the confidence of a mountain climber. "Is that safe?" Olivia's lips curved slightly. "He's never fallen. Well, not from anything high. He's fearless but coordinated." She nodded toward Liam. "His brother's the cautious one, goes about everything methodically." As if to demonstrate, Liam had begun systematically touching each fossil imprint, counting under his breath. Without conscious thought, William found himself moving closer to Liam. He crouched down beside him, maintaining a respectful distance. "Do you like dinosaurs?" Liam glanced at him sideways, considering. "Yes, T-Rex is biggest, but not tallest." "What's the tallest?" "Brachiosaurus." Liam pronounced it carefully, obviously proud of mastering the word. "They eat leaves from high trees." "That's very smart. How did you learn that?" "My book." Liam pointed to Olivia's bag where a well-worn dinosaur encyclopedia peeked out. "Mama reads it at bedtime." Above them, Noah had completed his circuit of the playground and was now watching their interaction. Slowly, he made his way down, drawn by his brother's conversation. "I like velociraptors," Noah announced, edging closer. "They hunt in packs." William felt a smile tugging at his lips. "That's right, they do. They're very clever dinosaurs." "Like me and Liam," Noah declared. "We're a pack." "You certainly are," William agreed, his chest tight with emotion. The next hour passed in a blur of playground activities. William found himself pulled into their world, helping Noah across the monkey bars, listening to Liam's detailed explanations of different dinosaur species, watching them navigate their shared space with the unique synchronicity of twins. When Liam skinned his knee after a small stumble, William instinctively moved to help, but Olivia was faster. She cleaned and bandaged the scratch with practiced efficiency, soothing him with soft words and gentle touches. William watched, learning, memorizing her methods. Around 11, Noah announced he was hungry, prompting Liam to echo the sentiment. "There's a nice deli around the corner," Olivia said, glancing at William. "They make good sandwiches." William nodded, finally reaching for the forgotten toy store bag. "Before we go, I brought these for you." The twins approached cautiously, their earlier reserve returning slightly. Inside the bag, 2 identical Brachiosaurus plushies waited, their long necks wrapped in different colored ribbons, blue for Noah, green for Liam. "I heard they're your favorite," William said to Liam, who was staring at the toys with visible longing. "Can we, Mama?" Noah asked, bouncing on his toes. Olivia nodded. "What do we say when someone gives us a gift?" "Thank you," they chorused, each carefully selecting their ribbon-marked dinosaur. Walking to the deli, William found himself part of their small procession. Noah chattered continuously about the playground adventure, while Liam walked quietly, hugging his new dinosaur. Occasionally, one or both boys would glance back at him, as if checking he was still there. The deli owner knew Olivia and the twins, greeting them by name and already knowing their usual orders. William watched as she helped them into booster seats, cut their sandwiches into manageable pieces, reminded them to use their napkins. "You're good with them," he said softly when the boys were absorbed in their lunch. "I've had practice," she replied, but without the bitterness he might have expected. "They make it easy most days, they're good boys." "They're incredible." William watched as Noah carefully shared his pickle with Liam, who offered a potato chip in exchange. I never understood it could be like this." "Like what?" "Real. Important." He met her eyes. "I want to be part of their lives, Olivia. Really part of it. Not just financial support or occasional visits. I want to learn all of it. Their routines, their preferences, their fears. Everything I should have known from the beginning." Olivia studied him for a long moment. "It won't be easy. They have schedules, routines. They need consistency." "I know. I'm ready to adapt, whatever it takes." "Daddy?" Noah's voice interrupted them. It was the first time either boy had used the word, and it froze William in place. "Can you open my juice?" With trembling fingers, William reached for the small juice box. Such a simple request, but it felt monumental. As he punctured the foil with the straw, he realized that in his entire career, no business success had ever felt as significant as this tiny act of fatherhood. "Thank you," Noah said, and William had to blink back unexpected moisture from his eyes. Later, as they prepared to say goodbye, both boys were fighting sleep, their new dinosaurs clutched tightly. William knelt down to their level. "Thank you for letting me play with you today," he said softly. Liam, still shy but less hesitant than before, asked, "Will you come back?" The question held more weight than the child could possibly understand. William looked up at Olivia, seeking permission before answering. "If it's okay with your mom, I'd like to come back very soon." Olivia nodded slightly. "We come to the park most Saturdays." "Then I'll be here," William promised, making eye contact with each twin. "Every Saturday." As he watched them walk away, Noah turning to wave one final time, William pulled out his phone. With quick, decisive movements, he canceled his standing Saturday morning meetings and marked every Saturday for the foreseeable future as unavailable. Some promises, he was learning, mattered more than any business deal ever could. Monday. Morning hit like a tidal wave. William sat in his corner office staring at the stack of urgent contracts requiring his attention, but his mind kept drifting to small hands and dinosaur stories. The weekend's events had shaken his carefully constructed world, leaving him questioning priorities he'd never before doubted. "Mr. Carter?" Regina's voice crackled through the intercom. "The board members are waiting in the conference room. They're asking about the Beijing timeline." William straightened his tie, muscle memory taking over as he gathered his presentation materials. The familiar walk to the conference room felt different somehow, as if he were moving through a slightly altered reality. "Gentlemen," he greeted the board, his voice carrying its usual authority. The room held the same faces that had supported his vision for years, distinguished men in expensive suits, all focused on profit margins and market expansion. "We've received concerning reports about delays in the Beijing negotiations." Richard Morrison, the lead director, began without preamble. "Sources suggest you've been distracted." William pulled up his presentation, the familiar graphs and projections filling the screen. "The timeline remains intact. However, I've been reconsidering our approach to work-life balance initiatives within the company." A subtle shift rippled through the room. These men had always appreciated William's single-minded focus on profits. Personal lives were considered inconvenient distractions. "Work-life balance?" Morrison's tone carried a hint of derision. "That sounds suspiciously like the kind of soft policy that costs shareholders money." William's phone buzzed quietly in his pocket. A text from Olivia with a photo attached. He didn't need to look to know it would be the twins, probably at their preschool. She'd been sending him daily updates since Saturday. "Actually," William heard himself saying, "I believe our current approach is costing us more than we realize. Burnout rates among top executives are increasing. We've lost 3 senior researchers to competitors offering more flexible schedules." "We compensate generously," another board member interjected. "That's always been enough." The image of Noah and Liam sharing their sandwich flashed through William's mind. Is it? When was the last time any of us attended a school play? A little league game? A family dinner without our phones? Morrison's eyes narrowed. "This wouldn't have anything to do with your ex-wife's recent appearance, would it? There are rumors." "I have sons," William cut in, his voice firm. "Twin boys, 3 years old. And yes, that has changed my perspective on certain matters." He turned to face the board directly. "But this isn't about my personal life. It's about recognizing that our greatest asset, our people, have lives beyond these walls." The room fell silent. William could feel the weight of their judgment, their confusion at this unexpected deviation from his usual stance. He pulled up the next slide. "Our competitors are adapting. Flexible schedules, remote work options, comprehensive family leave policies. They're not just attracting top talent, they're retaining it. Meanwhile, our turnover rates in key positions have increased by 28% in the last year alone." Numbers were their language, and William watched as the data began to sink in. He continued, laying out a comprehensive plan for policy changes that would have seemed inconceivable to him just a week ago. As the presentation concluded, his phone buzzed again. This time he allowed himself a quick glance. A video, Liam showing off his new dinosaur to his preschool class, his small voice carrying through the classroom as he explained about herbivores. "I've scheduled meetings with HR to begin implementing these changes immediately," William announced, pocketing his phone. "Any questions?" The discussion that followed was heated but productive. By the end, even Morrison had grudgingly acknowledged the potential benefits of the proposed changes. Back in his office, William finally opened Olivia's messages fully. 3 photos and 2 videos chronicled the twins' morning, Noah's artwork, proudly displayed on the classroom wall, Liam's dinosaur presentation, both boys at recess playing with their friends. "Regina," he called through the intercom, "clear my schedule for Saturday mornings indefinitely, and get me information about preschool schedules in Brooklyn, specifically around Carroll Street." "Sir?" Regina's confusion was evident. "The Beijing. Investors usually call on Saturday mornings. They can adapt." William opened his laptop, beginning to type. "Also, I need you to research child development experts, specifically those dealing with divorced parents re-entering their children's lives." A moment of silence followed before Regina responded, her voice carefully neutral. Of course, sir, and congratulations. On the boys. William paused, looking at the photo now set as his desktop background. Noah and Liam at the park, their new dinosaurs clutched tight. Thank you, Regina. Could you also find out the best children's bookstores in Brooklyn? I need to brush up on my dinosaur knowledge. That evening, instead of his usual late-night review of international markets, William found himself sprawled on his penthouse floor, surrounded by children's books and parenting guides. His phone buzzed with another message from Olivia. Bedtime story, the text read, accompanied by a photo of the twins in dinosaur pajamas, clutching their new plushies as they listened to Madison reading to them. Without hesitation, William pressed the call button. William? Olivia answered, her voice quiet. Is everything okay? Would it be all right if I said goodnight to them? A pause, then rustling sounds. Suddenly, two small voices chorused. Hi, Daddy. The title still hit him like a physical force. Hi, boys, I heard you had a big day at school. What followed was a jumbled, excited recounting of their day, with Liam's careful descriptions overlapping Noah's enthusiastic interjections. William listened to every word, making notes about the names and events they mentioned, determined to remember every detail. Time for sleep, boys, Olivia's voice eventually cut in. Good night, Daddy. See you Saturday, Noah asked while Liam added a quieter, bring more dinosaur stories? I'll be there, William promised, with lots of dinosaur stories. After the boys handed the phone back to Olivia, a moment of comfortable silence stretched between them. You're doing well with them, she said finally. I'm trying. William looked at the books scattered around him. I have a lot to learn. That's all any parent can do. Her voice softened. Good night, William. After they hung up, William remained on the floor, surrounded by his research materials. On his desk, his laptop chimed with urgent emails about the Beijing deal. For the first time in his career, William Carter, CEO of Carter Pharmaceuticals, left work emails unanswered in favor of memorizing facts about Brachiosaurus dietary habits. Some lessons he was learning couldn't be found in quarterly reports or profit margins. They came instead in small voices saying "Daddy," in shared sandwiches, and in promises kept. The headline blazed across William's tablet screen. Carter Pharmaceuticals CEO goes soft, board questions new family-first policies. He stood at his kitchen window, Manhattan's early morning skyline stretching before him, as he scrolled through the Wall Street Journal article. 3 weeks had passed since his first meeting with the twins, and the corporate world was beginning to notice the changes in their once predictable CEO. His phone lit up with Madison's name. Olivia's sister had become an unexpected ally, helping him navigate the complexities of entering the twins' lives. Have you seen the news? She asked without preamble. I'm looking at it now. William sipped his coffee. The board's concerns were bound to leak eventually. Olivia's worried. She doesn't want your relationship with the boys to damage your company. William set down his cup. How are they this morning? Excited. Noah's been up since dawn telling everyone his daddy's coming to his first t-ball game. Madison paused. You're still coming, right? Even with all this happening? Wild horses couldn't stop me. William checked his watch. I'll be there by 9. The drive to Brooklyn felt longer than usual, his mind racing between the article's implications and the upcoming game. He'd never attended a children's sporting event in his life, but he'd spent hours researching t-ball rules and appropriate parent behavior. The local park was already filled with miniature athletes in matching blue uniforms when he arrived. He spotted Olivia immediately, helping Noah with his tiny baseball cap while Liam sat nearby, more interested in his dinosaur book than the game preparations. Daddy! Noah's shout drew attention from several nearby parents. William caught the whispers, saw the recognition in their eyes as they connected his face to recent news coverage. Hey, champion. William crouched down to Noah's level. Ready for the big game? Noah nodded enthusiastically, showing off his uniform. I'm number 7. That's a lucky number. Very lucky, William agreed, fighting emotion at seeing his son in his first team uniform. And look who's got the best cheering section. He turned to Liam, who had finally looked up from his book. Ready to help me cheer for your brother? Liam considered this seriously. Can I bring Blue? He clutched his ever-present dinosaur plushie. Blue has a front row seat, William assured him, leading both boys toward the bleachers. Olivia followed, carrying a cooler of snacks and water bottles. The game, if it could be called that, was organized chaos. 5-year-olds swung wildly at balls perched on tees, ran in wrong directions, and occasionally forgot they were playing, at all. Noah, younger than most of his teammates but determined, approached each at-bat with intense concentration. Watch, Daddy, he called before his first swing. William found himself holding his breath as Noah connected with the ball, sending it rolling past the pitcher's mound. The pure joy on his son's face as he ran toward first base was worth more than any business deal William had ever closed. Go, Noah, Liam shouted beside him, surprising everyone with his volume. Run faster. Olivia caught William's eye, sharing a smile at Liam's unexpected enthusiasm. The moment felt perfect until William's phone buzzed with Morrison's number. He declined the call. Morrison called again, and again. Take it, Olivia said softly. We both know it must be important. William looked at his sons, Noah playing in the field, Liam now fully invested in cheering, and shook his head. Nothing's more important than this. Between innings, while Noah proudly showed his teammate his own dinosaur plushie, William finally checked his messages. The Beijing deal was unraveling. Investors were nervous about his changing priorities. The board was calling an emergency meeting. Daddy, did you see? Noah ran up, face flushed with excitement. I hit the ball 2 times. I saw every hit, William assured him, pocketing his phone. You were amazing. After the game over pizza at the twins' favorite local restaurant, William's phone continued its steady stream of urgent notifications. He kept it face down, focused instead on Noah's animated replay of every play and Liam's careful arrangement of his pepperoni into dinosaur shapes. The board meeting? Olivia said quietly while the boys were distracted by their ice cream. When is it? Tomorrow morning. Will they try to force you out? William met her concerned gaze. They can try. He watched as Noah helped Liam clean ice cream from his chin, the simple gesture of brotherhood making his chest tight. But I won't let them take this away. That evening, after saying goodnight to the boys over FaceTime, William sat in his home office preparing for battle. The corporate world had always made sense to him. Clean, logical, predictable. But now, looking at the photos covering his desk, Noah's t-ball action shots, Liam reading to his preschool class, both boys covered in pizza sauce, he realized how empty that world had been. His phone lit up with another call from Morrison. This time, he answered. The investors are pulling out, Morrison snapped. Your little family man act is spooking the market. The board wants your resignation by morning. William looked at the latest photo from Olivia, the twins asleep in their beds, clutching their dinosaurs. No. No? Morrison's voice rose. You're not thinking clearly. This sentimentality will destroy everything you've built. Actually, William said calmly, it's helping me see clearly for the first time. I'm not resigning, Richard. In fact, I have a better idea. He opened his laptop, pulling up the company's financial records. Check your email in 5 minutes. I'm calling an emergency shareholder meeting. It's time for Carter Pharmaceuticals to truly lead by example. After hanging up, William began to type, outlining a comprehensive plan to revolutionize their corporate culture. Outside his window, Manhattan's lights twinkled like stars, but his mind was in Brooklyn, with 2 small boys who had taught him more about success in 3 weeks than he'd learned in 20 years of business. His phone chimed with a text from Olivia. The boys want to know if you'll come to their preschool's family day next week. No pressure. We know things are complicated right now. William smiled, already typing his response. Some choices, he was learning, weren't complicated at all. Wouldn't miss it for the world, he wrote back. Then, after a moment's thought, he added, "Tell them Daddy's bringing dinosaur cookies for the whole class." He turned back to his laptop, to the battle ahead. The corporate world had always known William Carter as a ruthless businessman. Now they would learn what a father was willing to fight for. The shareholder meeting was scheduled for 8 a.m. Family Day at Brooklyn Bright Beginnings Preschool started at 10 a.m. William Carter stood before his closet at dawn, considering his armor for the day ahead. The suit he chose was Tom Ford, sharp enough for battle but comfortable enough for sitting in tiny chairs. His phone hadn't stopped buzzing since his announcement of the emergency meeting. The business press was calling it everything from a TI's hostile takeover to a mental breakdown. Morrison had been particularly vocal, telling CNBC that William had lost his killer instinct. Regina met him in the lobby, tablet in hand. "The shareholders are gathering. Morrison's group looks confident." "They shouldn't be." William straightened his tie. "Did you send the packages I requested?" "Yes, sir, though I still don't understand." "You will." He checked his watch. "How many shareholders are attending virtually?" 87% of voting shares will be represented, either in person or online. She hesitated. "Sir, about the other matter. I confirmed the order with the bakery in Brooklyn. The dinosaur cookies will be ready by 9:30. William smiled. "Thank you, Regina, for everything." The conference room was packed, tension thick, in the air. Morrison sat at the head of the table, flanked by his supporters. The screens on the wall showed faces of shareholders from around the world, all waiting to see if the great William Carter had truly lost his mind. "Before we begin," Morrison stood, papers in hand, "I move to—" "Actually," William interrupted smoothly, "as CEO, I'll open this meeting." He nodded to Regina, who began distributing thick folders to everyone present. "Please take a moment to review these materials." The room fell silent as shareholders opened the folders. William watched their expressions change as they absorbed the contents. "What you're looking at," he continued, "is a comprehensive analysis of our competitors' family-friendly policies and their direct correlation to market performance. The data is quite illuminating." He clicked through his presentation, graphs, filling the screens. Companies with progressive family policies show 40% better retention of key personnel. Their innovation rates are higher. Employee satisfaction translates directly to customer loyalty. Morrison scoffed. "This isn't about corporate policy. This is about you abandoning our company's principles for what, Richard? For recognizing that our employees are human beings? For understanding that success isn't measured solely in profit margins?" William's voice carried the authority that had built his empire. "Let me show you something else." The next slide showed Carter Pharmaceuticals' stock performance over the past month, since his changes began. "Notice anything interesting?" The room stirred. The stock hadn't plummeted as predicted. It had risen, steadily and significantly. "Our new policies have generated unprecedented positive press. Employee applications have increased by 200%. But more importantly," William leaned forward, "our existing staff is performing better than ever. Happy employees, as it turns out, are productive employees." He clicked to the next slide. "I'm proposing a complete overhaul of our corporate culture. Flexible schedules, on-site childcare, comprehensive family leave. Not because I've gone soft, but because it's good business. The Beijing investors," Morrison began, "have already signed the new deal." William allowed himself a small smile. They were particularly impressed by our innovative approach to work-life balance. "It seems Asian markets are ahead of us in recognizing the value of family-friendly policies." The mood in the room shifted palpably. William could see the shareholders doing the math, calculating the potential returns on this new direction. "There's one more thing." He nodded to Regina, who distributed another set of documents. "I'm increasing my personal stake in the company. buying an additional 15% of shares at a premium. Because I believe in this vision. The question is, do you? The vote that followed was anticlimactic. Morrison's opposition crumbled, in the face of hard data and the prospect of premium buyouts. By 9:45, William was in his car heading to Brooklyn. He made it to the preschool with 5 minutes to spare, the boxes of dinosaur cookies carefully balanced in his arms. The classroom was already full of parents and excited children when he entered. "Daddy!" Two small voices called out in unison. Noah and Liam ran to him, their enthusiasm nearly upsetting the cookie boxes. "Careful, boys," Olivia called, helping him with his burden. She studied his face. "How did it go?" "We won." He smiled, watching as their sons discovered the dinosaur-shaped treats. "All of us." The next 2 hours were a blur of small chairs, finger paintings, and proud presentations. William sat cross-legged on the reading carpet as Noah and Liam showed him their favorite books. He helped them build block towers and praised their artwork. When it was time for show and tell, he watched with uncontainable pride as they presented their dinosaur facts to the class. During snack time, his phone buzzed with news alerts about Carter Pharmaceuticals' revolutionary new policies. He ignored them, focused instead on helping Liam open his juice box and listening to Noah's detailed explanation of why Stegosaurus was now his favorite dinosaur. "Mr. Carter?" Their teacher, Ms. Chen, approached quietly. "The boys have been so excited about your visits. They talk about their daddy all the time now." William swallowed past the lump in his throat. "I'm just trying to make up for lost time." "Time isn't lost when you learn from it," she smiled. "They've blossomed since you've been coming around, especially Liam. He's much more confident." Across the room, Liam was showing another parent his dinosaur book, speaking with unusual animation. Noah sat protectively nearby, occasionally adding his own commentary. Olivia touched William's arm lightly. "The other parents are talking about the news, your company's new policies. They're going to help a lot of families. I had good teachers," he said, watching their sons. "The best." Later, as they helped clean up the classroom, Noah tugged on William's sleeve. "Daddy, can we have pizza again? Like after T-ball?" William glanced at Olivia, who nodded. "Pizza sounds perfect. With extra pepperoni?" Liam added hopefully. "For making dinosaur shapes?" "Anything you want, buddy." William felt his phone buzz again, probably more press inquiries, but left it in his pocket. Today is about family. As they walked to the pizza place, each boy holding one of his hands while Olivia walked beside them, William thought about the morning's victory. He'd won in the boardroom, yes, but the real triumph was here in small hands trusting his, in the way Noah skipped every third step, and how Liam quietly hummed the dinosaur song they'd learned in class. His empire might be changing, but it was finally building something truly valuable, a legacy of love, not just profit. And that, William realized, was the greatest success of all. The first real test came 6 weeks after Family Day. William sat in his office, reviewing quarterly reports when Regina rushed in without knocking, something she hadn't done in 15 years of working together. "It's Olivia," she said, holding out his phone. "Noah's in the emergency room." The world tilted. William grabbed the phone, already standing. "What happened?" "He fell at preschool." Olivia's voice was tight with worry. "They think his arm might be broken. We're at Brooklyn Methodist. I'm on my way." He was moving before the words finished, Regina already calling for his car. The 20-minute drive felt like hours. William's mind raced with worst-case scenarios, his heart pounding with a fear he'd never known in any business crisis. He rushed through the emergency room doors to find Liam sitting with Madison, clutching Blue tightly while watching the treatment room door. "Daddy!" Liam ran to him, tears streaming. "Noah's hurt bad." William scooped him up, holding him close. "Where's your mom and brother?" "Inside." Madison nodded toward the treatment room. "They're taking x-rays." William paced, Liam still in his arms, until Olivia emerged. Her eyes were red, but she managed a small smile. It's definitely broken but clean. They're putting on a cast now. Can we see him? She nodded, leading them into the treatment room. Noah sat on the examination bed, his small face tear-stained but brave. His left arm was being wrapped in a bright blue cast. Daddy, Noah's face lit up. You came. Of course I came. William set Liam down and moved to Noah's side. I'll always come when you need me. Look, Noah pointed to his cast with his good hand. It's blue like Liam's. Dinosaur, the doctor smiled as she worked. He's been very brave, though he's more worried about missing T-ball than the actual break. William's chest tightened. He'd been planning to miss Saturday's game for an international conference call. The season's almost over anyway, champion. We'll get you back. On the field for spring ball. Promise? Promise. William watched as the doctor finished with the cast. And hey, now you have a cool story to tell your class. Later, after filling prescriptions and getting care instructions, they gathered in the hospital parking lot. Noah was drowsy from pain medication, clinging to Olivia. I can cancel my afternoon, William offered. Help you get him settled. Olivia hesitated. Don't you have that board presentation? It can wait. No, she said firmly. You've worked weeks on those proposals. The boys will be fine with Madison and me. You've already rearranged enough of your life. Olivia, please, she cut him off. I don't want them to be the reason your work suffers. That's exactly what I was trying to prevent 3 years ago. The words hung between them, heavy with unspoken fears. William looked at their sons, Noah half asleep against Olivia's shoulder, Liam watching them both with worried eyes. My work isn't suffering, he said quietly. It's better than ever, because I finally have the right priorities. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. I'm not the same man I was 3 years ago, you know that. Do I? Her voice caught. You've been amazing these past 2 months, William. But what happens when the novelty wears off? When it's not just fun weekends and special occasions, but doctor's appointments and sick days and endless school meetings. That's not fair, isn't it? She shifted Noah gently. You missed 3 years because work came first. Always. I can't let them get hurt if your priorities shift back. They won't. Daddy? Liam tugged at his sleeve. Can you come read stories tonight? Noah always needs stories when he's sad. William met Olivia's eyes over their son's head. If your mom says it's okay. She studied him for a long moment before nodding. After your board meeting. Bedtime's at 8. That evening, William sat between the twins' beds, reading their favorite dinosaur books. Noah's cast was already covered in drawings. Liam had spent an hour decorating it with careful illustrations of various prehistoric creatures. Another one? Noah asked sleepily when the first book ended. One more, William agreed, reaching for Bronte's Big Adventure, their current favorite. Halfway through the story, his phone buzzed. The Beijing office was calling about urgent contract changes. William silenced it without looking, continuing the story without missing a beat. From the doorway, Olivia watched silently. Later, after, both boys had fallen asleep. She walked him to the door. You really have changed, she said softly. I had to. William glanced back toward their room. They changed me. You all did. The Beijing call. I saw you ignore it. They can wait until morning. The old William Carter would never have said that. He smiled slightly. The old William Carter was an idiot who didn't know what mattered. Olivia leaned against the doorframe. This won't be the last emergency. There will be more broken bones, more sick days, more school events that conflict with board meetings. I know. They'll need you, not just for the fun parts, but for the hard ones too. I want all of it, William said firmly. The emergencies, the doctor's visits, the school meetings, everything I missed, everything I almost lost the chance to have. He met her eyes. I want to be their father, Olivia. Really be their father. Not just for now, but for all of it. She was quiet for a long moment. Noah has a follow-up appointment next week, Tuesday at 2. I'll be there. You have that investors meeting. I'll be there, he repeated. Nothing is more important than them. Nothing. As he drove home that night, William thought about the day's events. The panic when he got the call, the fear in Liam's eyes, the trust in Noah's face when he promised about spring baseball. His phone was full of missed calls and urgent messages, but for the first time in his career, the weight of business obligations felt insignificant compared to the weight of a small boy in a blue cast falling asleep against his shoulder. Creak. His penthouse, he went straight to his home office. Instead of checking emails, he pulled up his calendar and began blocking out time. T-ball games, doctor's appointments, school events. The Beijing investors would have to adjust to his new schedule. Everyone would. Because William Carter had finally learned what his son already knew. Some promises couldn't be broken, no matter what. 3 months after Noah's broken arm, William stood in his penthouse kitchen covered in flour. Dinosaur-shaped cookie cutters littered the granite countertop, while his tablet displayed a recipe for the perfect birthday cupcakes. The board meeting starts in an hour, Regina reminded him through the speakerphone. And the Tokyo executives are waiting for confirmation about next week's trip. William carefully placed another tray of cookies in the oven. Cancel Tokyo. I'm not missing the twins' birthday. They offered to reschedule. No, he checked the timer. I'm not traveling at all next month. The boys start summer day camp and I promised to volunteer for the dinosaur fossil expedition day. Regina's sigh carried a hint of amusement. I'll revise the quarterly travel schedule. Also, Morrison called again about selling his shares. Let him sell. William began mixing frosting. He never understood where this company is heading anyway. After ending the call, William surveyed his handiwork. Dozens of dinosaur cookies cooled on racks, waiting to be frosted. The cupcakes were next, chocolate with blue frosting for Liam, vanilla with green for Noah. Their 4th birthday party was tomorrow, and he'd insisted on baking everything himself. His phone chimed with a text from Olivia. The boys are asking if you're still coming for bedtime stories tonight. Wouldn't miss it, he replied, then added, How do you feel about helping taste test some cookies? Her response came quickly. We'll be there in an hour, fair warning, they're extra excited about tomorrow. William smiled, remembering their reaction when he'd suggested having the party at the Natural History Museum. He'd arranged for a private tour of the dinosaur exhibits, complete with a paleontologist to answer their endless questions. The doorbell rang just as he finished frosting the first batch of cookies. Twin voices called out, Daddy, as his sons burst into the kitchen, stopping short at the sight of the cookie-covered counters. Are those all for our party? Noah's eyes were wide. Did you make them? Liam added, studying the dinosaur shapes critically. I did. William lifted them, up to see better. Want to help decorate them? For the next hour, the kitchen became a joyful mess of frosting and sprinkles. Noah approached the task with his usual enthusiasm, while Liam carefully color-coded his cookies by species. Olivia leaned against the counter, snapping photos and sampling the results. These are actually good, she said, surprised. When did you learn to bake? YouTube tutorials. William helped Liam pipe details onto a stegosaurus. I've been practicing for weeks. Daddy makes the best cookies now, Noah declared loyally, his face smeared with blue frosting. Better than the bakery? Olivia teased. Way better, Liam nodded seriously. Because he makes them special for us. William caught Olivia's eye over their sons' heads, seeing his own emotion reflected there. These moments, ordinary, messy, perfect, were everything he'd nearly missed. Can we see our party clothes? Noah asked, licking frosting from his fingers. William led them to the guest room, now transformed into a space for the twins with bunk beds and dinosaur-themed everything. Their party outfits hung on the closet door, matching suits but in different colors, just like they'd requested. We're going to look so fancy, Noah bounced excitedly. Like Daddy, Liam added, touching. his small blue tie. Later, after the boys were cleaned up and settled in for stories, William noticed Olivia examining the room's recent changes. "You've done a lot here," she said quietly. They needed their own space. He gestured to the carefully organized books and toys. "For when they visit." "When did you do all this?" "Been working on it gradually. I wanted it to be perfect for them." He hesitated. "I was hoping maybe they could start spending more time here. Regular weekends, maybe some weekdays." Olivia was quiet for a moment. "You've proven me wrong." "You know?" "About what?" "Everything." She turned to face him. "These past months you've been there for every moment, big and small. The broken arm, the stomach flu, the nightmare phases. You haven't missed a single promise to them." "They're my priority," William said simply. "Everything else works around them now, not the other way around." "I see that," she smiled softly. "They adore you. I adore them." He watched as their sons argued playfully about which story to read first. "I adore all of you." The words slipped out before he could stop them. Olivia's breath caught, and for a moment the air between them crackled with unspoken possibilities. "Daddy, we picked one," Noah called, breaking the moment. William moved to the beds, settling into his usual spot between them. But as he began reading about Bronte's latest adventure, he was acutely aware of Olivia watching from the doorway, her expression thoughtful. The story was interrupted by a call from Beijing, another crisis demanding attention. William silenced his phone without breaking rhythm, continuing the tale as Noah and Liam snuggled closer. "You didn't even check who it was," Olivia said later as they cleaned up the kitchen. "Didn't need to." William packed cookies carefully into containers. "Nothing's more important than bedtime stories. The William Carter I married would never have said that. The William Carter you married was a fool." He met her eyes. "I know what matters now." She stepped closer, helping him with the containers. "And what's that?" "Family." His voice softened. "Love. All the things I was too, blind to see before." Their hands touched as they reached for the same container. Neither pulled away. "The boys' birthday wish list," Olivia said suddenly, her voice unsteady. "Do you know what they asked for?" William shook his head. "For their daddy to live closer. To see you every day, not just some days." She took a shaky breath. "They want their family together." "And what do you want?" William asked quietly. Before she could answer, his phone buzzed again. Morrison, probably with more complaints about the company's direction. The call went unanswered as William waited, heart pounding for Olivia's response. The kitchen timer chimed, announcing the last batch of cookies was done. But neither moved, caught in a moment balanced between past hurts and future possibilities, between what was lost and what might still be found. "I want—" Olivia began, then stopped as Noah's voice called from the bedroom. "Mama, Daddy, we need one more story." They shared a look, years of history and months of change hanging between them. Then Olivia smiled. That same soft smile that had first captured William's heart years ago. "We should probably finish this conversation tomorrow," she said. "After the party." William nodded, hope blooming in his chest. Tomorrow. As they headed back to the bedroom for one more story, William thought about birthday wishes and second chances, about cookies and bedtime stories, and all the small moments that added up to something magnificent. Tomorrow would bring its own challenges, a birthday party to orchestrate, a conversation to finish, a future to possibly rebuild. But for now, there were stories to read, and sons to hold, and a love that had never really died, just waited to be rediscovered in dinosaur shapes and frosting-covered smiles. The American Museum of Natural History stood quiet in the early morning light, its halls empty except for the small group gathered in the Hall of Saurischian dinosaurs. Noah and Liam, resplendent in their matching suits with different colored ties, stood transfixed before the T-Rex skeleton, their small hands clasped together. Is it real, Daddy? Liam whispered, gripping William's hand. Every bone, William confirmed, sharing a smile with Olivia over their son's matching expressions of awe. Dr. Rivera here can tell you all about how they found it. The paleontologist. William had arranged to guide their private tour, knelt beside the twins. Would you like to hear about the expedition that discovered this specimen? Both boys nodded eagerly, and William stepped back to stand beside Olivia, watching as their sons peppered the scientist with questions. Noah bounced with excitement while Liam listened intently, occasionally whispering observations to his brother. You've outdone yourself, Olivia murmured, adjusting Noah's slightly crooked tie. This is beyond perfect. They deserve perfect. William watched as Dr. Rivera showed the boys how paleontologists carefully excavate fossils. After everything, we all do. The morning unfolded like a dream. The twins led their small group of party guests, family and close friends, through the dinosaur halls, sharing facts they'd memorized from their books. William had arranged special interactive stations where the children could touch real fossils and create their own excavation sites. During lunch in the museum's private dining room, decorated with dinosaur-themed everything, Noah stood on his chair despite Olivia's gentle protests. This is the best birthday ever, he announced to general laughter. Liam nodded in agreement, carefully protecting his cake from his brother's enthusiastic gestures. Better than the cookies Daddy made? Madison asked, winking at William. The cookies were good too, Liam said diplomatically. Daddy made them special. Daddy makes everything special now, Noah added with a child's simple honesty. William felt Olivia's hand slip into his under the table. He squeezed it gently, remembering their unfinished conversation from the night before. After lunch, while the other children explored the touch and feel fossil station, Noah and Liam pulled their parents aside. Can we show you something? Liam asked, unusually serious. They followed the twins to a quiet corner where their backpacks waited. Noah pulled out two carefully wrapped packages. We made these, he explained. One for Mama and one for Daddy. But it's your birthday, William protested. You're supposed to be getting the presents. These are special, Liam insisted, handing one package to each parent. Inside, they found hand-drawn pictures. Williams showed 4 figures holding hands in front of what appeared to be his building, recognizable by the surprisingly accurate rendering of the Carter Pharmaceuticals logo. Olivia's depicted the same 4 figures in front of their Brooklyn apartment. See? Noah pointed to the drawings. It's all of us together, because we're a family now. The best family, Liam added quietly. Even if we live in different places sometimes. William met Olivia's tear-filled eyes over their sons' heads. In that moment, surrounded by prehistoric bones and children's laughter, the last pieces of their complicated puzzle began to fall into place. Later, after the party wound down and the last guest departed, the 4 of them stood in the Great Hall. Noah and Liam were tired but happy, each clutching new dinosaur toys from the museum gift shop. I have one more surprise, William said. If you're not too tired. The boys perked up immediately. Olivia raised an eyebrow, but William just smiled, leading them outside where his driver waited. The car stopped in front of a brownstone in Brooklyn Heights, just 15 minutes from the boys' preschool. A sold sign stood in the small front garden. What's this? Olivia asked as William helped the twins from the car. My new home. He guided them up the steps. If everyone approves. Inside, the boys gasped at the sight of the fully furnished space. The living room held comfortable seating and plenty of space for play, but it was the back room that drew excited squeals. A perfect replica of their dinosaur-themed bedroom from the penthouse. You're going to live here? Noah asked, bouncing on his new bed. Close to us? That's the plan. William glanced at Olivia. I want to be near you all. No more long drives or missed moments. Can we stay here sometimes? Liam asked, examining the carefully stocked bookshelf. That's up to your mom, William said softly. Olivia walked through the space slowly, taking in the thoughtful details. Photos of the boys on the walls, their favorite snacks in the kitchen, a dedicated art, space for their projects. When did you do all this? Been working on it since Noah's arm. William watched their sons explore their new space. That day at the hospital, it killed me not being closer, not being able to get to them faster. The twins had discovered the backyard, complete with a swing set and small dinosaur fossil dig site. Their excited voices drifted through the open windows. "You're really sure about this?" Olivia asked. "Leaving Manhattan, living in Brooklyn?" "I've never been more sure of anything." He took her hand. "Except maybe about how I feel about you." She turned to face him fully. "William, I know we have a lot to work through," he continued quickly. "Trust to rebuild. But these past months have shown me what really matters. Who really matters." He gestured to their sons playing outside. "They're everything. You're everything." "You've changed so much," she whispered. "Because of them, because of you." He squeezed her hand. "I'm not asking for everything back immediately. Just a chance. To be close. To be a real family." "Mama! Daddy!" Noah called from the yard. "Come see. We found fossils." They walked out together, still holding hands, to find their sons carefully excavating the fossils William had buried in the dig site. "This is the best birthday present," Liam declared, brushing sand from a replica bone. "Better than the museum?" William asked. "The museum was awesome," Noah said. "But this is better because we can all be together more." "Is that what you want?" Olivia asked softly. "All of us together more?" Both boys nodded emphatically. "Like a real family," Liam added. "We are a real family," William said firmly. "Maybe not a traditional one, at least not yet, but real where it counts." Olivia's grip on his hand tightened. "Yet?" she whispered. Before he could respond, Noah launched himself at them, sending them all tumbling onto the grass. Liam joined the pile, and suddenly they were all laughing, covered in sand from the dig site. "I love you," William said softly, the words meant for all of them. "All of you. Always." The setting sun painted Brooklyn in shades of gold as the newly reformed family lay in the grass, making plans for dinosaur gardens and weekend adventures. The boys chattered about sharing their fossil discoveries with their friends, while William and Olivia exchanged looks full of promise and possibility. Later, after the twins had fallen asleep in their new beds, Olivia and William stood in the kitchen. "Stay," he said simply. "All of you. Not just tonight, but stay." She stepped closer, touching his face gently. "Are you sure? Your whole life is in Manhattan?" "No," he smiled, covering her hand with his. "My whole life is right here." As they kissed, soft and sweet and full of promise, the sound of small feet padding down the hall made them smile. "I think we have company," Olivia whispered. Sure enough, two tousled heads peeked around the corner. "Is this home now?" Noah asked sleepily. William and Olivia shared a look, years of missed chances and new beginnings passing between them. "Yes," they said together. "This is home." And there, in a Brooklyn brownstone filled with dinosaur dreams and second chances, the Carter family began again. Not as they were, but as they were always meant to be. At what point in the story did you feel that William really changed? Was it during the first time he saw his children on the plane? When Noah broke his arm, or when he started making cookies for their birthday? Leave your opinion in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, please subscribe to our channel and leave a comment below letting us know what you thought. Your feedback and support mean a lot to us. Stay tuned for more exciting stories.